To your left, Daniel Tawede, and to your right, Mr. Kyle Amoroto. So we have two players who could put on the show here. So let's see who will get the lag, who will win the lag, and get to start this match. Looks like, okay. So the winner of the lag will be Daniel Tawede. So that means that Daniel will be starting off this match with a break. So let's just make sure that everything's ready here. So there's our referee for this match, Mr. Mario Bautista. And of course, we're happy to have you here. So again, if you're joining us, we are live from the break room bar and billiards and bar located along at the third floor of the Chanka building here at Commonwealth Avenue, Barangay Holy Spirit, Quezon City. So let's take a look at this here. So Kyle Amoroto, obviously a player who has international experience, who has battled it out in some big name tournaments against Daniel Tawede, a local talent who definitely can play. He's just not had the same opportunities as Kyle, but nonetheless, we're going to expect an interesting match here. Daniel Tawede will start off because he has won the lag. And that break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sports book for the serious sports bettor. That's a dry break for Tawede, and that means that Amoroto, the sharpshooter as he's known, will try and take advantage. He's got a nice look here on the one. That's beautifully done. And two balls looks like it's going to go to the same pocket. Well, actually, it's going to the side. Checking his pockets here. Just going to try and get himself some position here. So he gets to pull out his cue extension, which is legal in this tournament. So although jump cues are not allowed, the cue extensions are in fact allowed. So in this case, Kyle trying to stretch to get position on the 2-ball, which is good. And now that leaves him a shot on the 3. A little more angle maybe than he would have wanted, but it's manageable because what Kyle wants to do is he wants to get right back across the table. And then maybe get the 5 in the side. Then the 6. The 6 also looks like a possibility this side. 7-ball as well. To the bottom pockets along with the 8. And 9 to one top corners pockets. Definitely not that complicated a layout for Mr. Amoroto to handle. Kyle sitting around here. So just let this go off the rail. Land on the opposite side for the 4. Just like that, beautifully done. So you'll just have to explode with it. Nicely done. The 5-ball should be okay this side. And 6 to the opposite side pocket. 7 to the bottom right, 8 to the bottom left, and 9 potentially. Ooh, let's run that a bit. I will run that just a little bit. Nope. He's definitely gonna have to. He's gonna have to do that one. Something about this one. Let's see. Looks like Kyle's gonna have to go aim for the top right corner pocket. Oh, it's meant for the side actually. I was gonna go for that one. Try to get position back to the 7, and that leaves. Well, I'm not gonna call this the most favorable lie. for Daniel Tawede, because that's going to be a tricky situation he's in. I'm not sure he's going to be liking this too much. So he's going to have to go on rail. Unfortunately for him, he might not like this. What's most likely to happen here is if Kyle tries to cut this in, he's going to hope that he can glance it off the 8 so that he still stays down table for the 7. Alright, so let's see what Kyle will do here. Sorry about that. We had a minor technical glitch there. Just trying to get that sorted. And let's see here. Let's play a safety. Try to contain it at least, I think. That would be a wise choice. Oh, wow. That is not a bad hit there. And putting a lot of distance, making it much more difficult for Tawede to play defense. Daniel's going to have to really play containing safety. He's going to have to play more distance to try and keep it as close to the boundary as possible. This is really going to be bold enough to go for. Trying to use the 8 for protection. And, ooh, look at that. That's a nice safety there. Very nice. Gotta see that. Well played. Kyle's gonna have to go at least one rail to get to this 7. Make a lot of strikes. Ooh, that was a miss. That's a foul on Kyle Amoroto, meaning that we're gonna see if Daniel Tawede can take advantage of this. Daniel knows that he's up against heavyweight here, Kyle Amoroto. Gonna go for the 7-8 combination. Try to play it and hope that he can keep the 7 the same path. Very good. And then he'll just have to draw this back, I would think, just so that he can get position. So just needs the extension to give him the leverage. Alright, slicing it is fine. And this is for Daniel Tawede's first rack to get the advantage over Kyle Amoroto. There you go. And there it is. Daniel Tawede is now up 1-0 in this race to 9 against Kyle Amoroto. And we'll be right back with rack number 2. So winner's break format, meaning that Daniel Tawede will be breaking again. And we're going to see if Kyle Amoroto can get back to the table and try to tie it up at least. He doesn't want this deficit getting too big like what happened the last time. So again, winner's break format, meaning that oh man, there was just a little confusion there. I think Kyle wanted to make sure. Yeah, I think he got used to playing a lot of those alternate break format tournaments there. And by the way, that break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sportsbook of the serious sports bettor. I think that's an open shot on the one for Kyle. Not sure though he can make it. Let's see. If he can though, and then keep it in control just enough to get position on the two, that would be good. Decides to play, or he's left it open. But even then, this is a tough shot for Daniel because he's going to have to navigate a lot of traffic going back. He's choosing to give it a lot of low left. Avoided having to go up through the traffic there. Good job. Now the 3 ball can go into the same pocket as well, I would assume. So while we take a look here at what Daniel's going to do. Daniel just needs to stay focused here. He's got a layout that I think will work for him. Just has to be careful here because the balls are all clustered on the upper half. Oh, wow. That ball nearly popped out of the pocket. He hit it so hard. I swear it just about spiraled out of the pocket, but stayed down. Wow. It's like Daniel just has to keep the focus on. Make sure each ball goes down. He's going to choose to draw this back down for the 7. Nice. I think that's the only tricky preparation shot that he had to make there, because the 7, 8, and 9 are pretty automatic in those pockets. Well, he's chosen about the same pocket for the 8 and 9. He's just checking to make sure that he has the room to clear this. Nice. And this for rack number 2. Well, Daniel Tawede mentioned earlier he was nervous about starting this match slow, but looks like he's gotten off to a great one. And we'll be right back with rack number 3 and see what happens from there. Two zeros to score, and Daniel Tawede looking hot in his start here against Amoroto. And if I'm gonna venture a guess, still too early to tell, because again, when you're battling against someone like the sharpshooter, you cannot take that for granted. So a referee just making sure that the cue ball's placed on the foot spot, on the head spot rather, because again, this is to ensure that the break is as minimal of a factor as possible. That break, by the way, is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sports book for the serious sports bettor. Kyle doesn't have a look at the 1, so he's likely to play a push here. I would. Kyle is looking here, just making sure that he knows what he's looking at. And personally, I would think that he's at least better off leaving Daniel with some shot here. Well, definitely Daniel not hesitating to give it back. And by the way, over on the second table, if you're looking there, that is, of course, Jonas Magpantay on the second table. We're looking at the action here. Of course, this is now getting interesting because now we're looking at the possible safety battle here brewing between these two players. Oh, but he's good. He's going to be good. Wow, I think the referee for a moment wasn't sure if that was a legal shot, but apparently it is. Man. Even in these tournaments, there's still a fun element to this. I think Kelvin might need to buy the referee a cup of coffee. I think he might be a little bit on the slow side today. Nah, he's actually okay. He just wasn't sure because he hit it very, very thin, but that was a good shot. So now Kyle Amoroto looking ready to take advantage here, and he's got a fairly good layout. I don't see any major issues at this point. The layout's pretty okay. All Kyle has to do is, as we say, just lay the rack. Watching this right now, we're live from the break room. Billiards and bar located along Commonwealth Avenue, Quezon City. Let's see what Kyle's doing here, just making sure he's got a good feel of this table. Everything looking pretty much out in the open here for the sharpshooter. Seeing any major problems for this man right now. I think this third rack will be his. I'll hope to start chipping away. He's going to start chipping away at that lead. Oh, what happened there? No. Just when you thought, all of a sudden, that's gotta be frustrating. Daniel Tawede picking up the scraps, as we saw there. Daniel Tawede looking to go up to 3-0. Oh, he hit that wide. Wow. Definitely looked wide there, and even Kyle shaking his head up to say, I got lucky there. All right, there's our score. 2-1 in favor of Kyle Amoroto. And the sharpshooter will be breaking next. Don't go away. First rack finally for Kyle Amoroto, and because of the winner's break format, he will be breaking rack number 4. Man, those were some very surprising misses there. First, Kyle Amoroto missing the 7 ball in the top right pocket where it was rattled out, and then Daniel Tawede hitting it just a little wide, a little thinner than he should have. And that was why Kyle Amoroto ended up still taking this rack. Because the sharpshooter did a good job for most of the rack until the 7 ball, but after that miss, he was not going to let that 9 go. And I think any sane person wouldn't let that go. And that break from the sharpshooter is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sports book of the serious sports bettor. Powerful break there by Kyle Amoroto, just as if to say finally, although he didn't get the ball down. That's going to leave an opportunity here for Daniel Tawede to try and get in there. Ooh, he hit just a little offline. I think Kyle might still be able to see the cheek of this. He'll probably do a little bit of a swerve here. Nicely played for a counter safety. That is well played. And I think he's going to have not just the 7 ball, but the 9 in the path as well. Very well done. All right. The way they hope he doesn't open up, but it just did. Kyle can smell the blood here in the water. He knows he needs to get aggressive to have a chance to stay in this match. So again, if you're watching this on our Facebook page, MSW Rising Stars. Nice shot by Kyle. And again, some nice prizes awaiting the winners and high finishers in this tournament. And of course, this is also bound to give some exposure, especially if the player is relatively unknown. So you also have that exposure level. Well, and Kenzie went off the rails there, but Kyle still got it. Let's see. Kyle just looking good here. He doesn't have a lot of problems actually. Looks like another open table for him. 5, even close to that 8, still has a lot of room to go into the side pockets. So no serious problems here for the sharpshooter. Again, the only thing that's going to stand in his way is if he makes a mistake. But otherwise, it should be all good. Ball to the bottom left, 8 to the left side pocket, or even did he overrun that? He might have. So again, let me just introduce my partner here, the Fluffy Meg, Kelvin Nanyong. He was just helping out with some things earlier, so. Yes, you did not miss that much.
I know what happened.
Yeah, you were what? Yeah, you were the one even giving the referee some candy.
May blooper kanini. Anyway. So, tiny bit of a predicament here para kay Kyle Amoroto. Inipisan and he missed it, but where is the cue ball going?
Oh no.
Nabenta.
Actually, he would have just been better off trying to play a safety if he didn't feel like he could cut that in. That was a very risky cut.
Bringing the weather, brings down the 9. He's leading 3 racks to 1, and we'll be right back.
Alright, so while we are waiting for rack number 5, right now Daniel Tawede showing a surprisingly strong performance against Kyle Amoroto. But again, we can't underestimate the fact that this early, the sharpshooter might still make a comeback. And who knows, he might actually surprise us.
Partner, i-announce ko lang yung mga ibang laban sa ibang mga
Ay, go lang.
tables sa
Alam mo na.
sa table number 2 sa likod nila Kyle Amoroto at Daniel Tawede. It's our world 10 ball champion, Jonas Magpantay versus Kier Abarquez. On table number 3, Morris Santillan versus RJ Bautista. On table number 4, doon sa pinakadulo, doon sa nakikita nyo sa live stream,
Yes.
sa pinakatuktok. It's Edmond J. Estorninos versus the Cobra, Jeffrey Ignacio. And on table number 5, ito, our dear friend, John Lester Casimiro versus John Conde. And then, table number 6, Manguda Embang versus Derek Narzoles. By the way, that break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the number 1 sports book for the serious sports bettor. At again, table number 6 is Manguda Embang versus Derek Narzoles, our recent CPPC Ultimate Champion sa Battle of Champions Season 2
Right.
ng 10 ball. Table number 7, Jack De Luna versus Rahel Kagiwa. And hindi po siya kamag-anak ni Mark Kagiwa. Okay? And then table number 8, Sean Michael Kisay versus Jason Starr, Jason Marabi. So yan po yung mga naglilaban.
Teka, may Shawn Michaels pala tayo?
Hindi, Sean. Sean.
Okay, sorry.
Iba yan. So, star-studded ang D2 natin.
Yeah.
We have the Cobra. We have the Sharpshooter sa TV table natin.
We have a silent killer.
We have the Silent Killer, the World 10 Ball Champ natin. Meron tayong Jack De Luna.
We have a bulldozer, yes.
At maya-maya, maglalaban sa next round. Maglalaro rin si Paul Kenneth R. Pineda, Daryl Tejerero, Reinhardt Atanoso, Mark Anthony Kinlog, aka Badong Republic, and si Al John Omugtong. So, mamaya yung kasama round 2. Naghihintay lang sila ng mga winners sa mga respective matches na naglalaban ngayon. So, si Brian Sagipid pa.
O nga pala.
Naglaro rin.
Yung sige babayan nga pala.
He's waiting for the winner of the Magpantay Abarquez matchup. So, hintayin na natin kasi yung mapupunta sa TV table. Okay?
Ayun.
Alright, I'll let my partner, the Great White Shirt Cannon, take over.
Yeah, leaving everything to me again as usual. Ay, but anyway, thanks for mentioning the matches there. So, again, Kyle Amoroto wanting to cut down that deficit, and so far, he's got an interesting layout here because that cluster with the 5, the 6, and the 9, he has to somehow find a way to get out of jail with this one. Oh no. I think he didn't want to hit that 8. And that says it right there. He did not want to hit that 8. He's going to be forced to play off the rail, 1, maybe 2. And hope he can get a safety off of this. Well, he can still see that he can hit this 5 definitely. The problem is, can he use that to actually get the 9 down? That's not impossible, but this is still a tricky shot even for the standards of the best players. Waiting for Daniel Tawede. Let's see. Here he goes. Well, he did a containing safety, and not bad at all. But here's the thing, that 9 ball is still a potential carom away. And the question is, will Kyle Amoroto be willing to take on a carom and risk leaving an open shot for the 5 if he misses? Oh no, he took it on. What a shot. As I suspected, the sharpshooter just decided to pull the trigger and he aimed with perfection. And we'll be right back as he cuts this lead down to 3-2. So Kyle Amoroto on the last rack taking advantage of a 5-9 carom to cut that deficit down to just 1 rack. Good job there for the sharpshooter. Now he's hoping that he can get a good break here in rack number 6 because, again, this race to 9 is going to get pretty intense if this rate of play keeps up. So we're about ready for the sharpshooter to take his place. That break, by the way, is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sportsbook of the serious sports bettor. Well, another dry break, but then again, when you're breaking from the head spot, the chances of actually getting the ball down kind of drop. It becomes more challenging to actually get a ball. And in addition, of course, as I mentioned the rules earlier, we do have an anti-soft break rule, meaning that all players are required to have at least 4 balls contact the rail minus any. Oh, wait a second. Wow, that's a nice safety there. So Daniel taking advantage of that, using the 9 to tuck it behind some other balls. And this, obviously, for the sharpshooter, not an option to jump out here. So he's going to have to go around here. Now, if I were looking at this from Kelvin's side, I'd probably be doing a 1 or 2 rail kick here. I think he's going for 2 rails. Oh, he got it. Wow. Somehow, some way, managed to just avoid a scratch there in the process. Good job. I mean, he's left an open 1, but then again, you would much rather, and I think this is for most pool players anyway, you'd much rather lose to someone by escaping a safety successfully rather than giving up the ball in hand off the foul. Alright, I think he's got a shot there. The 2. And this is going to require a bit of travel to get positioned back for the next ball, the 3. With the 1 ball down, that leaves just 8 more balls on the table. Shot. So if it clears, should be okay. Right, I think he has enough room for that 8. Looks like he's fine. The important factor is just stick to the game plan. Try to keep it in that general area, so you can get a good look at the foot into the top right pocket. Next up, 5 ball, and it's going to give it some low spin. Bring it back in position there. slight overrun, but you know, it's not so bad. He'll actually prefer that angle because at least it makes his travel to the 6 less a lot less challenging. Just has to hit it nice, just like that. Alright, Daniel doing a great job so far. He's been able to outpace Kyle Amoroto by a combination of taking advantage of the sharpshooter's misses there. He's also been playing very tough on his own. 8 to the side and then 9 to the top right. That looks like the planned finish for Mr. Tawede. There he goes. 4-2 is the score for Daniel Tawede, putting on the show, and we'll be back with rack number 7. So we are about ready for rack number 7. Referee just making sure that everything in the rack is as it should be. Of course, we're not using templates here. We're actually using the standard triangular rack for setting up the balls here. And again, as our rules state, that the referee is the only one who can handle the ball before the break, the cue ball before the break, and only after cleaning the ball with a foul call. So the players basically have to be careful that they don't pick up the ball before any of those incidents, otherwise it's an automatic foul. And by the way, that break is brought to you by MSW, Mega Sports World, the #1 choice of the serious sports bettor. So he dropped the 8 in. Good job there for Daniel Tawede. And that means that he has a good look at the 1. There it is. Just needs to stretch a bit. Unfortunately, cue extensions are in fact allowed. So all he needs to do is make sure he gets position. Wow, that is tough. That is tough to get position on, but you know what? Got it. That was beautiful. He's going to just have to go around the short side, yeah. So he's gonna have to go 2-3 rails, I think, here. Well, 2 rails is fine, actually. Not bad. It's actually a great setup there. Now, to set up for the 4, he's gonna have to, I think, draw this a bit if he can, but he'll end up playing the short side of the 4. So it's gonna be a little challenging here for Tawede. Daniel's gonna have there. He's loading it up with some low bit of touch left there. Nicely done. I guess that's he would have wanted it a little with a little less angle, but he might actually benefit from that extra bit of angle because it'll allow him to go straight off the bottom rail and then roll towards the 5 higher up on the table. So Daniel just trying to measure the angle here. I mean, if he can make it just bounce straight up, if he puts the right spin on this, I think he's putting a touch of left, I think, on this one. Nice shot. Oh, look at that. Beautifully played. Lands it perfect on the long side. So he's got a great layout here. And so far, Daniel Tawede has been playing like a champion. He has just been running through this rack. And look at this. We just want to make sure that we feature again that Daniel's just playing solidly today. He's been taking advantage of Kyle Amoroto not being quite where he's supposed to. And there you go. Daniel Tawede leads 5-2 in this race tonight. He's more than halfway up the mountain. Can he get to the summit? Well, we'll find out right after this. So while we are waiting for rack number 8 to start off, just a quick announcement for result from table 4. So the Cobra, Jeffrey Ignacio, defeats Edmund J. Estorninos by a score of 9-5, meaning that in the next round, he advances to the next round. And therefore, we are going to see him take on, it's Daryl Tejero he's going to be taking on in the next round. So Daryl Tejero advancing due to a bye. So Jeffrey Ignacio, the Cobra, will be in the next round. That break, by the way, is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sportsbook of the serious sports bettor. Solid break, but nothing going down, and I think Kyle can actually see the 1, so this is an opportunity for him to try and cut down that lead, because again, he has started to fall behind. And this is where Kyle needs to find something. Needs to find some sort of momentum here because he's been struggling. He plays solidly when he gets the layout, but for some reason hasn't been able to finish off his matches the way he usually does. There we go. Nice shot. Well done. So Kyle Amoroto navigating a table that could be his best hope at trying to stop the bleeding here. So far, this table looking fairly good for him here. And nicely going off the rail there. So again, just a quick update of the score here. So Jeffrey Ignacio advances to the next round, defeating Edmund J. Estorninos by a score of 9-5. That means that he will face Daryl Tejero in the next round. So the Cobra looking to punch his ticket to the final 4, which will to the quarterfinals battle, which will take place, by the way, tomorrow at the Sharks Arena and Sports Bar located along 234 Tomas Moroto Avenue, Barangay South Triangle, Quezon City. Oh no, another miss there. Wow. The struggle has been real for the sharpshooter as his normally reliable shooting has been anything but. At least, again, don't want to fault him. He might just be having an off day, but wow. Nearly managed to just avoid that 8 beautifully. And that spin, wow, that is something else. Good play there by Daniel. And he is going to have to take on the 7. Unfortunately for him, there's a path for the 7. Is he going for the side or is he going for the corner? Oh, uh-oh, that's the problem there. That was the risk by going that way. Because if he had tried to go for the long pocket, he wouldn't have had enough angle. You know what he was trying to do, but the bump into the 9 was not what he wanted. He played that one well. Tried to play it to containing safety as well. And Kyle knows it's now or never. He can't afford to fall further behind than he already has. Again, very star-studded lineup we have for tonight. So as you mentioned, the reigning World 10 Ball champion Jonas the Silent Killer Magbantay is in today's edition. And of course, I also want to mention some other heavyweights here. Brian Sagiped, of course, is also in the house as well. Lots of notable names battling it out here. Right now, Kyle Amoroto fighting for his continued run in this tournament. There it is. Kyle Amoroto taking advantage there off that miss. And we'll be right back with rack number 9 and Kyle Amoroto now trailing 5-3. See if he can turn it around. That break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sports book of the serious sports bettor. Kyle got a ball down on the break, but the cue ball was also the other ball. Can't be happy with that. Well, just a quick reminder here that, again, the rules of the tournament state that only the referee can handle the ball immediately after the foul or right before the break. So in this case, looks like Daniel will have to wait at least until the referee gives him the ball before he can go for this. And right now, our referee is setting up for the other table, and you can see right there the World 10 Ball champion himself, Jonas Magbantay, getting warmed up. I think the referee might have actually forgotten for that moment. That in fact, oh boy. Well, we're just clarifying just to make sure, but yeah, that was definitely a scratch off the break. And unfortunately, I think he took out one ball and actually bumped one of the other balls off position. Just want to make sure this is clear. So we're just gonna make a quick check here. We just want to make sure that the referee is requested to double check where the ball was originally. All right, so we're just making sure that the balls are put back to where their positions should be. Unfortunately, a little bit of confusion, I think, on the referee's part. But I just want to make sure that's all clear. Again, so we're just making sure. And again, sorry about this. The thing is, we have limited referee coverage right now, so we only have. So our referee just making sure that the balls are properly placed. Yeah, I think we're gonna need to get him some coffee. I think I'll ask Kelvin to buy him a gallon of coffee if he needs it. No, I think Kelvin needs to spike the coffee. No, I think I'm gonna tell Kelvin to spike it with some energy drink. Maybe that'll work. It's all right. Honest mistakes do happen. Honest mistakes do happen. So so we're just making sure here. Yeah, Kelvin's just making sure that it's clear here. We're just gonna give him a moment while they get this sorted. All right, so we got that sorted now. Well, if there was an episode of Shacking a Fool for 9 ball, this might be it. Well, anyway, while we're looking at this here, so again, off the foul, obviously a very open layout here for Daniel Tawede. Although, I'm not sure if, well, yeah, okay, he's okay with this one, I guess. But he has to make sure he gets position on the 6. All right, let's see. I believe he has a path for the 6 to go in the same pocket, so the 9 should just go there as well. There you go. This to go up to 6-3 and take advantage of that unfortunate scratch off the break for the sharpshooter. And we'll be right back. The score now is 6-3. That break was brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the number one sportsbook of the serious sports bettor. All right, well, the sharpshooter has to find his game here. He's been struggling, and that scratch on the break certainly did not help in the last rack. Let's see. I think he can see the 1. Position for the 2 is going to be tough, though. Oh, hit a little thin, but maybe, just maybe, a safety is not a bad idea. You know what? I think Kyle will not complain about this one. At the very least, he's basically forcing Daniel to have to play around the insanity of it all. He's basically forcing it. It's going to be a tough one here. Let's see. I think he's going to go off the bottom rail, loaded with lots of right spin, and that's the result. And I think he got lucky. Oh yeah, he got lucky. Definitely. Maybe that's the 7 that's in the way of all of this. So Kyle's going to go off the left side rail. And I'm not sure here. Has he given an opening? It might just be enough. Well, he's not. Doesn't look 100% sure. We're gonna find out soon enough. There's a shot. Nicely done. Just a little spin needed there, just to make sure it wouldn't go out all the way here. So again, it's a great venue to be if you happen to be in the Quezon City area, especially here in Barangay Holy Spirit or the nearby areas. The break room, billiards and bars, a great place to hang out and enjoy yourself, just in case. There you go, safety play, and I think he might have gotten away with it. Alright, so let's see. Kyle gonna go off 2 rails, and I think he got lucky as well. Wow, okay. Kyle just finding another safety there. Good job. He's not letting his opponent, Daniel Tawede, intimidate him just like that. I mean, Daniel Tawede did say that earlier before the start of this match that he felt intimidated taking on the sharpshooter, but so far he has been playing a very, very solid game. I think that's why if he wins, I think Kelvin and I will probably try to ask him for another rice meal for this one. If he does win this one. But again, against the sharpshooter, don't bet against this guy just yet. Kyle has fought in a lot of impressive matches. I've seen this guy make a comeback more than once. He can play. He just needs to find his momentum and unfortunately the momentum's still not quite there. For some reason the pockets have seemed a little tighter on his end. Again, no knock on him. It's just that the tables seem to be playing a little tighter for him than usual. I'm not sure. But either way, he's certainly not happy with that result. Let's see. So just a quick recap here. So whoever wins this match will take on Paul Kenneth Arpilleda in the next round. So that's why it's going to be an interesting result here to see who Paul Kenneth Arpilleda will take on. So let's see. And the winner of the match between John Lester Casimiro, aka Bruno, one of our good friends here, against Jan Conde, they'll be taking on the Urdenites man himself, Mr. Bran Sigipe. That's coming up later. So we're gonna see who he will want to feast on. Just kidding. Anyway, we're gonna see if it's gonna be an interesting question though. Who'll be on the TV table after this? So we'll find out a little later. And don't forget, let's see, Jack De Luna also currently battling it out against Regel, I think, Kagiwa. Yeah. And then Shan Michael Kisai taking on Jason Marabi, also in one of our other first round matches. And of course, Kerr Abarquez taking on the World 10 Ball champion Jonas Magpantay. We're still checking out the scores here, just discussing some updates here with the rest of the team. So let's see. Here. There you go. Daniel Tawede so far looking like he's got something going. All right, 9 ball is down, and Daniel Tawede only needs 2 more racks to run his way to the next round. And man, he has been playing very, very well. We'll be right back. So while we are waiting for rack number 11 here in this race to 9, just a quick update here. Jason Marabi wins over Sean Michael Kisai 9-7. And that means that he'll be taking on Mark Anthony Kinlog, aka Balong Republic, in the next match, next round. By the way, that break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sports book of the serious sports bettors. So looks like our round 2 starting to take shape here. And the winner, by the way, of the match between Jonas Magpantay and Kerr Abarquez takes on Reinhardt Atanoso. That's going to be in round 2, of course. Assuming, of course, whoever wins the match between Jonas and Kerr Abarquez. And speaking of the results, there it is. The World 10 Ball champion running through Kerr Abarquez by a score of 9-4. So he will be taking on Reinhardt Atanoso in another thriller there. All right, Daniel Tawede is so far looking good here. And he is just focused on getting to the finish line, and if he does get this rack, he will be on the hill. But again, let's give credit where credit is due here. Amoroto still playing some great shots there, especially that carom, that 5-9 carom he did earlier. That was an amazing shot there. It's just that Kyle's been rather unfortunate with some of his misses here, and Daniel has played very, very strongly as well. So to be fair, just as I said, again, that's not a commentator's curse because I did not say that he was going to make that for sure. Still, one has to look at how Kyle Amoroto has gotten into this hole, and I think this is the perfect opportunity for the sharpshooter to start slinging in some balls. He needs to. Can't afford to let this match slip away from him if he wants to stay alive in this tournament. There it is. That's more like the Kyle Amoroto I've seen before. Looking good. He still needs these 7, 8, and 9 to cut that deficit down to 3 racks. All right. And 9 ball coming up for Amoroto. And he is now trailing only by 3 racks. 7-4 is the score, and we'll be back with rack number 12.
Table number 8. Jonas Magpantay versus Reinhard Atanoso. Table number 8. Jonas Magpantay versus Reinhard Atanoso.
That break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sports book of the serious sports bettor. Well, we have a very interesting situation here that, again, it's going to require Tawede to keep working at the rate he's going here. Because he can see the one. He can definitely drop this. This dry break by Kyle Amoroto giving him another opportunity. But he's not going to like this. Bumped into the 2 and unfortunately lost position. So if I were Daniel, I'd probably play a safety, send the 4 ball up table, and then put as much distance as possible. Like that. And look at that, he managed to get a safety going. Nice. Well, he can still see some of that 2 ball, but knowing Kyle, he's going to find something. Let's see. nails it on the thin side there. And he's left an open shot on the 2. Well, at least Kyle avoided the scratch there. But definitely avoided the scratch, but definitely got the, what's the word for it? But definitely at least avoid the foul. Although now for Daniel Tawede, it's an open shot on the 2. Now he's just looking at the layout of the land here. He's deciding where he wants the 2 to go. I will assume that he's going to try and bring it back to the down table. There you go. Just stunned it. Nice job. So he's looking at the 3 up near the balls there. He's trying to figure out where he wants it to go. Again, when the players do that, they're usually just trying to indicate where they want the ball to go mentally. They're doing it as a mental sort of placeholder. That mentally they want the ball to land there. No. Wow, I believe this is the first time that Daniels had the scratch in this match. I'm not sure, but he's definitely not had the same amount of struggles as Kyle has. So it's a big opportunity for Amoroto. Nice shot, and everything pretty much out in the open for the sharpshooter. All right. Here. Looking good. And again, the winner of this match will take on Paul Kenneth Arpilleda in the next round. So for both of these players, the stakes are going to be incredibly high. And again, our target here is to get the other 4 finalists will compete in tomorrow's quarterfinals, and then narrow it down to the semifinals, and then the finals. So anyway, 7-5 is the score, and Kyle Amoroto fighting back. Can he overhaul that deficit? We'll find out after this. That break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sports book of the serious sports bettor. Well, let's see. We're gonna find out now if this is indeed the resurgence or of the sharpshooter Kyle Amoroto, because he's down by 2 racks, but he has not given up at all. To his credit, he has refused to go down quietly, and I'm going to give him credit. He is showing a bit of tenacity here on this part. So he's going to need the bridge there, and our referee is going to just let him have that. Now, the question here is, he's gonna have a slightly awkward angle here. See what he does here. Tries to set it up table, using the balls as blockers. Good play there. Simple yet effective safety implemented by this man here. It's gonna force Kyle to go off the rail. There he goes. Will he get lucky? I'm not sure he did. I'm not sure he got lucky there. We might still be able to see at least a piece of that one though, if there is some blockage there. And he's taking a bit of a pause. I think that's why he doesn't seem to be as aggressive taking it on. Alright, good. So it turns out that there was in fact no path there. And that means that Kyle Amoroto is going to have an open shot on the one. Let's see. I'm going to bet for him to take the two possibly to the side. I mean, slide him on the forward if he can. He's make a bit of low spin to get there. Nice. Using that beautifully. Taking it off the rail. That's a well done job there. Now here comes the sharpshooter. And Kyle Amoroto just running through it. So while we are doing that, again, this is a single. This is already the this is a single round knockout, meaning that you lose, basically you're out. So that's why for all these players, the stakes are much higher. Wow, Kyle Amoroto starting to show some confidence here. He's letting out that stroke after struggling with it earlier. I think taking on winning two racks in a row is actually going to boost your confidence, and I don't blame him. Try and go for the 7 in that side pocket. Nicely done. This is what we're looking for here. All right, that's what Kyle's certainly doing right now. Just needs to stay focused. And he will cut the deficit down to 7-6 if he makes his 9. There you go. Kyle Amoroto rallying back. He's only 1 rack behind Daniel Tawede. Can he continue overcoming the slow start? Or will Daniel Tawede hold him off? We'll be back to find out. Alright, so while we are just waiting, again, we want to greet one of our commenters today from all the way from North Carolina, Carrie-Ann Allman. Thank you for joining us. I'm not sure about whether it was Kyle who beat Anton in their last encounter. We'll see if we can find that out. We're not 100% sure, but for sure, Kyle. I'm sure she's rooting for Kyle right about now. Wants to see the sharpshooter get to the next round. And don't worry, Carrie. There's a lot of great players who are here today. I'm sure you know some of them. Brad Sagiped's in the house. We also have Jeffrey Ignacio here. And of course, I think one of your personal favorites, Jonas, is also in the house too. So he's already guaranteed in the next round. So the question will just be if his opponent can in fact stop the reigning World 10 Ball champion from doing the deed there. So we're about ready here. And let's see. Reset. And the sharpshooter needs this to tie it up. That break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 choice of the serious sports bettor. And unfortunately, another scratch on the break for Kyle Amoroto. Oh man. Just when we thought the sharpshooter was getting his momentum, just got snapped right there. Oh, man. And I'll be honest, this is not a very challenging layout here for Daniel. And in the meantime, while we do a quick recap here, so um, Jack De Luna wins his match against Regel Kagiwa by a score of 9-3, meaning that in the next round, he will take on Mr. Aljon Omugtong. So again, Jack De Luna advances 9-3 against Regel Kagiwa. He'll be taking on Aljon Omugtong in the next round. So great effort by the bulldozer as he just bulldozed his opponent in that round. Good job there. So congratulations. We're gonna see if Jack De Luna can continue his run in this tournament with that great performance. Challenging situation here. This 4-ball, I mean, he can make this in the side, but the problem is these pockets are tight, so I think he's actually considering a bank here. Let's see what he'll do. Nice shot there. Will he get position on the 5? Oh, wow. Okay. That was not bad at all. No, really, that was not bad at all. So, good job there. Good job there by Daniel, as he's just been playing so well. Let's see if Kat can come back here. Right now, Daniel has actually been playing a much more solid game. So to be fair to him, he didn't get out to that lead because he felt like it. Oh, but that was a huge miss there. That was a huge miss. And here's the thing. When you make a miss against someone like Kyle Amoroto, that's not gonna go. He might make you pay. Speaking of which, just waiting for the other results here. So far, just this match and our other match there being decided here. So only 2 more matches to be determined here. We're still waiting for the results. Right now, Kyle Amoroto wants nothing more than to snatch this one right under Daniel's nose. But Daniel Tawede has again been playing very solidly. He has not been hesitant to go all out. All right, almost down to this 8-ball here. And just needs a 9. Oh wow! Look at him spinning around. Wow, he just did the dance of death around the 9, and that was beautiful, beautiful. And Kyle Amoroto finding his way back. He has tied this match at 7-all. So it's now just a race to 2. Who gets the next round? We'll find out after this. So while we are waiting for rack number 15, quick comment also posted by EJ Boy Duma saying that mahirapan din si Kyle dyan kay Daniel Tawede, mandirigma din yan. That's actually true. Totoo nga yan. Actually, matinding laro niya ni Daniel sa totoo lang. Kaya nga nakalamang siya ng 7-3 kanina. Pero the fact na ngayon, kung wala man si Kyle, well, just naging mas na siya. Interesting ang laban. That break, by the way, brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sportsbook of the serious sports bettor. Dry break again. Daniel Tawede playing very strongly so far, but now Kyle Amoroto fighting back. And Daniel has to start making some moves to ensure that that he can spoil Kyle Amoroto's comeback. That was a dry break, unfortunately, Kyle. So, yeah, this is just one of two matches to be decided here in this round, in the first round. Oh, missed it, and it might sell. Okay, he got away with it. Got away with it. Good effort. At least he landed it in an awkward position there, so he's going to force Kyle to have to play his own safety. And we know that Kyle wants to go for it. Oh, nice little lockup. Nice little lockup there. And look at that. The sharpshooter trying to put the cue ball in jail, and, well, that's a pretty tough prison to escape. Daniel so far has been playing solidly, but with the pressure kind of suddenly put on him, he's now under his own pressure, and he has to counter this. Okay. So he committed a foul there. Deliberate foul to try and lock up the balls. And while we are doing that, we want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Mark Jerk Leyva, one of our good friends here, saying good luck, partners. And salamat din. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Siyempre, alam yan. Now, Daniel Tawede putting up a deliberate foul there to try and tie up the table so that Kyle will have less of an open path to running it out. Because right now, Kyle has just been playing so cleanly in the last few racks. Oh, wow. Nice shot on that one. Well, he had to line it up there to get that into that tight position for the two. That was tough. Hey, no, not bad. Nice kicks that he's wearing there. Good job there. Kyle Amoroto looking on. So far, he's taking advantage here, trying to be as deliberate as possible. Wow, that is a brilliant clear out there. Beautifully done. And Kyle Amoroto digging deep, and so far it's been paying off for him. That deliberate foul was good strategy, but Kyle Amoroto had his own answer. And now Daniel Tawede hoping that Kyle makes a mistake here. So far, the sharpshooter looking very, very good here. And if Kyle wins this, he's on the hill and he puts a lot of pressure on Tawede. Tawede is going to have to really pull off something here. Nice play there, playing it rail first to get position on the 6. That is beautifully done. All right. 2 more balls down. This to get to the hill. And to finally show that his momentum has come back. There you go. Kyle Amoroto is on the hill. Only 1 more rack needed for the sharpshooter. Can he get that rack, or will Daniel Tawede force a hill? We'll find out after this. Well, looks like Boy Duma is rooting for Daniel Tawede, the Black Arrow as he calls him. That's actually interesting. And then Mark Jack Leyva rooting for Kyle Amoroto. Well, either way, Daniel Tawede is in a lot of difficult spots here because he has to force, he has to somehow hope that Kyle misses and that he can run this out. That he can run this out somehow. He has to hope that things go in his favor. But right now, the sharpshooter has been sharp and ready to go. And that break is brought to you by MSW Mega Sports World, the #1 sportsbook of the serious sports bettor. Another dry break. And fortunately for... Well, it looks like it's fortunately for Kyle here. He's left some pretty interesting clusters here. But for now, challenge here. The one ball's not a problem. The two, though, that's going to be a problem. Because he'll have to either go for a combination or do some sort of safety. He may not be able to run this out unless he somehow frees them up. Uh-oh. That's not good. He's behind another ball. That's not going to work in his favor. He was hoping he would just clear that out and then end up on the short side. But does he have enough? Does he have the room? He's going to have to play one rail to get to it. And that is a foul. So ball in hand again, and this time it's Kyle Amoroto looking to seal the deal. And he's got a fairly open layout now, so Kyle, if he can win this, then he will have made an incredible comeback after struggling for the majority of this match. Down by as many as 4 racks at one point, 7-3, but now he has won 5 consecutive. And if he can win this, he will not just win the match, but have come back by winning 6 consecutive racks. And that's going to be an impressive feat for this man right here, if he can make it. He's just looking fresh right now. Probably just gonna let this go off the side rail, and then let's go. And he decides to go for the 3 rail route. Always a good one, also. And there it is. Amoroto to advance to round 2. And congratulations to Daniel Tawede for putting up a great effort, but Kyle Amoroto walks away with the win, and more importantly, guarantees himself a match against Paul Kenneth Arpilleda in the next round. Daniel Tawede putting a great fight, though. He actually had the sharpshooter on the ropes early. It was just that when the chips were down, the sharpshooter started putting up a performance there. Well, so I guess we're going to do a quick interview in just a bit. So we'll be right back in just a moment with the interview with the sharpshooter, Kyle Amoroto.
Check, check. Check, check.
Testing. 1, 2. Testing. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing. Testing guest mic 1 2. Testing commentator 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 mic 1 2. Testing guest mic 1 2. Okay. Sige. Dito tayo sa
Opo. Hello.
All right, so we are here with the winner of our first TV table match here as the sharpshooter Kyle Amoroto survives a challenge from a very game Daniel Tawede as he was trailing for most of this match but came back to win 9-7. So kitang-kita natin dito, Kyle, medyo nagsustruggle ka sa simula. Parang hindi mo makuha yung buwelo mo. Pero nung umabot na ng 7-3, parang nakita natin nag-iba yung ano mo, yung takbo ng iyong laro. So, pa-describe nga yun. Ano yung naramdaman mo nung na-realize mo? 7-3 na pala ako, kailangan kong pursige na to. Ano yung tumatakbo sa isip mo nun?
Wala naman po dahil sa mga talaga nilalaro ko, di ko nga iniisip na mananalo pa ako. Pero nagkaroon ako ng chance na makabalik kasi nagkamali siya 2 beses.
Oo nga
So, tingin ko pwede akong manalo kaya ginawa ko lang yung best ko.
Ayun, yun. Kita-kita nga natin actually Doon na kami nabilib. Imagine mo, nanalo ka ng 6 na sunod-sunod na rack para makabawi pa dyan. That is very impressive. I mean, napakahirap na nga ng makapag back-to-back racks. 6 consecutive pa. At yun nga, tama ka nga na, to be fair, sobrang game naman si Daniel. Kita naman natin, di ba? I mean, ayan, pinahirapan ka rin niya. But yun. So, ang good news nito is, kakalabanin mo ngayon si susunod, si Paul Kenneth Arpilleda naman. So, ngayon, anong tumatakbo sa isip mo ngayon? Alam mong makakarap mo yung isa ring magaling na sa mga local pros natin. Ano yung tumatakbo sa isip mo ngayon?
Magaling din yun, di rin ako nakakasiguro. Pero tignan na lang natin, kailangan lang din ng konti swerte. Paboran lang kung sino mapaboran ng bola, di ayun ang mananalo. Yun lang naman po.
Ayun. So, before we go, syempre, just in case, hindi ka namin maabutan mamaya. So, baka gusto mo batiin yung mga fans mo, yung mga mahal mo sa buhay, para makakita naman nila.
Ganito na lang po. Magpapasalamat na lang po ako sa nagpa-tournament sa MSW dahil sa pag-organize ng ganitong tournament and maraming player din na nagkakaroon ng opportunity na locals.
Ayun. Well, salamat din. And of
Thank
course,
you po.
it's very nice to see you. So again, congratulations to you, Mr. Kyle Raymond Amoroto. Strong performance. And we'll be right back with our next TV table match right after this.